Hello and welcome to the SciFirst MovieTalk episode. So in this episode I'll be discussing the 2021 animated comedy adventure that is The Mitchells vs. the Machines, as directed by Mike Rianda. So, originally pegged to be released in 2020 under the title Connected by Sony Pictures. It did throw me when I saw this on Netflix. The release was kind of pushed back due to the worldwide COVID pandemic and was ultimately sold to Netflix and released in 2021 by the streaming service under the creator's preferred name, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. So, the film follows the adventures of the Mitchell family, focusing on the relationship between the father and the daughter as they kind of try to kind of come to terms and understand each other as they kind of grow up and really kind of go their own separate ways. All is kind of set against a robot apocalypse, because, you know, well, why not? We're introduced to Katie Mitchell, as voiced by Abbi Jacobson, an enthusiastic and imaginative aspiring movie creator, cornering the online world of videos with her kind of quirky productions, and who has kind of recently been accepted to a film school in California. Her dad, Rick, as voiced by Danny McBride, finds it hard to understand, and I can kind of relate to how that, you know, technology, and as a result, you know, his daughter dreaming. Yeah, he kind of dreams of living in the wild, always kind of preparing for outlandish situations. Unfortunately, he kind of struggles to communicate with Katie and doesn't kind of understand her talent or not how it can really be used to kind of create a solid future for her. Rising kind of resentment with Katie kind of means that she just can't wait to escape the family, but in one last ditch attempt, Dad kind of organises for them to travel to California in kind of one big all-out family style road trip, much to Katie's dismay and disdain. Along with her mother, Linda, as voiced by Maya Rudolph, and her brother Aaron, as voiced by Mike Rianda, the family begrudgingly embark on their road trip adventure, but not really knowing just how perilous it is about to become, and just how much each of their skills will be required, learning that each does have a place in their hearts forever, and that the bonds that tie the family together can never be broken. All while saving the human race, of course, against an onslaught of robots intent on removing the human population from the face of the planet. Literally. So, I must say that I absolutely loved this film. In fact, we all did in our house. It made for a very welcome change to all of the turmoil currently going on in the world, and really did make for a momentary escape into a wonderful new world of animation and storytelling that really was simply quite a riot to behold. It has a kind of very quirky and I would say very zappy kind of animation style. The whole thing is very punchy and neatly wrapped. It does kind of feel like an extended meme at times, but the way that it has been done really does add an extra flavour to the proceedings, which I really did love. I thought that it was a really interesting and somewhat unique way to kind of tell the story and indeed provide an insight to the minds of the characters, especially Katie, in kind of a way that's not often seen. It is kind of an eclectic mix of rendered computer graphics, pop art, 2D animation, and even a splash of live action thrown in for good measure. And it certainly keeps things fresh and interesting throughout. And as a result, there is plenty going on in keeping everything really kind of relevant and quite up to the minute. In fact, it does contain an absolute ton of pop culture references, right from mainstream cinema and music to kind of viral memes, YouTube videos, which really do work exceptionally well with the overall flow of the film. It's certainly one of them that really does need a second viewing, kind of just to make sure you noted them all. Indeed, not only do we have a great cast of more mainstream actors, but also kind of a real good kind of mix of real-world YouTubers, influences, personalities, and basically sensations that I thought was a really kind of good fit and in keeping kind of with the film's kind of atmosphere, if you like, and with its mainstream elements, and most certainly against its overall style. It may have been a fantasy for the most part, but everything that they did was to kind of keep it kind of grounded to our reality as much as possible. And in this, it is extremely relatable. The characters themselves are just excellently presented and really have some kind of individual depth. I think it kind of captures the modern family life beautifully well, at least my family, minus one child. Quite astute, you know. The gap between the younger and the older generations is told, and I think, as you can see, from a point of view of both understanding and experience, kind of bringing that warmth and love for them both without sacrificing on the emotion to bring the comedy, nor kind of dumbing down with anyone specifically. Each is relevant and has a voice. Indeed, going back to the animation itself, I absolutely love the way that it used to provide like a visual representation of Katie's thought process throughout, as she kind of saw everything as a chance to make a movie. It was awesome to kind of see such insight, and again, another way in which the film got us involved with the characters on a kind of a more personal level. Family is indeed at the core of this movie, it really is, and indeed, it brings us a very heartwarming kind of blend overall. It is a tad on the outlandish side sometimes, a bit out there, but it carries its central theme very well without really kind of forcing them on its audience, and simply just having great fun along the way. You know, it is all brought together in a very natural way, I would say. The film has some great comedy throughout. I was nearly in tears at certain points, especially with regards to the Mitchell's family pet, Monchi, a pug, and as an ongoing joke as to what it most looked like. And as I said, it is quite weird, but it does work. And very interestingly, Monchi is actually voiced by a real pug. Indeed, Doug the pug, who has kind of become an internet sensation in his own right. There are some decent science fiction elements thrown in too, don't get me wrong, and I did find it interesting how they kind of tackled the duality of social media and the internet in general. It wasn't anti-tech, even though it was indeed tech which had taken over. You know, it was kind of embracing the good and the positive elements that brought forth a connection with the family, and indeed a couple of new eager recruits along the way. Overall, this film had a fantastic vibe and buckets of energy, which really, really resonated, and simply put, was just an absolute blast and a really well thought out, thoughtful and endearing family movie. It has a great set of characters that have a real backbone and substance that make the story not only sheer madness at times, but very down to earth and very warming, like many families. It would be a fiasco even Clark W. Griswold would be proud of, you know? It utilises a number of different animation styles, which gives it a real fresh and relevant feel, mixing two generations together who, once at odds, kind of reconnect in the face of adversity and understanding each other, that each has their own voice and indeed skills, which prove to be very useful in an apocalypse. There is a really endearing montage, in fact, at the end of the film, showcasing some of the cast and the crew in their younger years, which it really does feel very nostalgic and gives the film a real nice rounded approach to its message. It really makes us feel included in that process too, as part of their family, and really is a touching tribute. And I think it really does sum up the way that the film has really been presented. So, that brings me to the end of this episode. Many thanks for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like. Please do hit that subscribe button for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and other movie-related content. We have absolutely loved having you here at SciFirst MovieTalk, and we'd definitely love to have you back. But most of all, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.